thanks for stopping back at the Cranberry Cornstalk YouTube channel. Today I'm going to tell you a little bit about a home decorating seminar I just attended. I made some notes so I could share with you some of the neat things that I found out today. But as promised last night on the Friday night flash sale, I'm going to show you how I made a primitive, colonial, vintage, whatever you want to call it, basket for Easter to start. We'll put some eggs in it for now. It is spring 2021, and then eventually we'll change it out for daisies. For the summer, maybe add a colonial flag, something like that in it. But it's one of those things that you can just put for a base in your decorating and just continue to change it out for the season. Some of the things I made notes on in the decorating seminar, it is all about primitive decorating. Now you wouldn't know it from my studio because I do paint in silhouette, but when I decorate my home, it is purely primitive colonial, and I love that, and I'm sure you do too, or you wouldn't have come to this channel. But I wanted to tell you some of the things that I gained from and information for the future decorating trends. Now, from what I understand, overall you can't beat a classic. Everybody is going back to the country type, warm colors, more of a warmer color palette. Apparently the modern stuff just didn't feel good. I know I tried it myself. We built a new house and moved, and I started decorating maybe a little bit fancier because I like some of the sparkle, but it just didn't feel the same. It didn't feel warm and cozy. When you came in, it didn't feel like you were getting a hug, and that's what my kids and I were talking about when they come home for dinners and stuff. But a warmer color palette for sure. The warmer woods, they're going to move to the warmer woods. No more the whitewash and that type of thing. That's the future. They seem to be trending back to the warm wood colors. No more plain subway tile. The new tile out will be the sort of beat up, rough edges, it says, worn and bumpy and irregular tiles with a little bit of worn look to them. So that's just right up our alley for our primitive colonial stuff. And they said you can't beat the classics is one of their statements. You just can't beat the classics. People seem to trend more toward them in the long haul. They temporarily go for some of the trends out, but they always end up reverting back to the more traditional type of decorating. Another thing that I found out was that they're going to change the floor plans. For a while we've been going toward the open floor plans where homes were built or walls were knocked out because everybody wanted that one room type home, but they're going back to putting some walls up because I guess from what their data showed is with the coronavirus and stuff like that, people were being home a lot more, maybe working off their computers. They need that sense of division in their rooms. They need some type of not privacy so much, but like I know for me at my house, whenever I'm working on something and maybe my husband has the TV on or music is too loud or something like that, it's hard to concentrate or get done what you want to, especially filming and things like that. But that is the future as well from what they were saying. But people are putting more walls up, maybe not totally. I think we'll find a happy medium there somewhere in putting walls back up in homes. And they're just going to identify, it said, separate spaces, so possibly for work at home, that type of thing. And shiplap is changing just a little bit. Of course, you can't beat the traditional shiplap, but it's changing to some of us old colonial style decorators. It's changing to vertical, so that is right up our alley. Do you remember back in the colonial fireplace trends? All of the wood was up and down and it was totally painted. Well, that's what we're going back to. Shiplap that is vertical, no longer horizontal, and these are long-term changes that they're saying the decorating community is going back to because they work, and they work long-term, and the trends just change out so quickly. And yeah, it talked about the fireplace, farmhouse originals, the old painted panels, yeah. So then they called it modern vintage. So they're sticking with the vintage term and they're calling it modern vintage. That's the future terms for decorating, modern vintage. They want to make it feel more cozy and organic. So organic's a big thing too. They said the furniture will be changing over from the shiny type furniture to more organic type things like rugs, sisal rugs, that type of thing, braided rugs, no more shine. And the best part is, which, maybe not the best part, but the most surprising part is people are going back to vintage dried flowers. Go figure. Now, we've come a long way in dried flowers. Dried flowers are nice as long as you don't have to clean up all the crumbs every week when you decorate or when you dust and clean. We've come a long way, so they're now more plastic, recycled type things. So we're helping recycle, and we don't have those crumbs everywhere. But by golly, the stuff that they are making now, you can't sometimes tell if it's really dried or if it's plastic. You really can't tell. They've come so far from, I remember my grandmother's plastic flowers. Oh, you could tell right away they're plastic, but that's a new trend as well. We're moving toward the dried flowers that look dried, so to help keep up the house and continue to recycle things. So there you go. There's our latest notes on the latest home decorating seminar that I just attended. Hey, we're good to go. We love our primitives, we love our colonial, we love our vintage. We're back in style and we're here to shine. So don't forget to continue with me. Hey, I know I'm not the best video maker. I am learning as I go, and that's part of success, is making a lot of mistakes, right? So stick with me as we continue to build videos, get better hopefully in the footage that I can produce for you. If you have any tips on something, I know a lot of people have been talking about my music, it's too loud. So just give me some tips on what you see, because when you make them, it's hard to tell what you're doing wrong when you just make them and you put them out every week, and in your mind they're exciting and you know what happened behind the scenes, but maybe when you're viewing it, it's not quite the same. So if you have tips for me, I really appreciate it on making better videos. And let's get started. As I promised you last night in the Friday night flash sale, I try to do Friday night flash sales. All it is showcasing a few seasonal, holiday, maybe that week items that I'm low on inventory, and hopefully can get you some of the prices marked down. Not always, but some of them are. So if you get on my website and order them from the flash sale that day before midnight, you get that price that was advertised, or you get one of the items, because usually it's only a couple of things left and I want to show you them before you don't have a chance to buy them for the season. So that's my Friday night flash sale. And as I said last night, Friday night, that today I'll be showing you how I made a vintage basket. So here we go. Let's roll. I started with these Dollar Tree finds. Baskets and eggs were only $1 a piece at the Dollar Tree. Some old moss I had remnants of in the craft cupboard that I dug down. I wasn't sure what color I was going to use. I was going to try them all out until I decided. One was brown, one was green, and one was kind of a mix. And I wanted to go outside to get some twigs, and much to my surprise, all of my flowers were blooming, so I thought I would show you my spring flowers. They're just popping through the ground. Boy, they came up quick this year. But I was outside looking for green twigs to put in my basket, something with a little bit of new growth on it. And all I did was just go to the side of the woods. There was all kinds of stuff. I'm sure you have something in your yard. If not, you can purchase. They have some really cute dried ones at the Dollar Tree as well, so it would be $1 a bunch. I saw some lilacs and some really pretty little dried flowers that you could use too. So if you have an opportunity to pick some, just go pick some. It makes it a little more natural. And as I wandered down through the woods to find my little treasures, lo and behold, on the ground by a tree was some moss. And I thought, there's got to be a way to harvest this moss. So I picked it and I brought it into the house in just the surface part of it. Now there was a little bit of dirt on the bottom. I made myself a basket with my twigs and laid it on top. Brought it into the house and put it on an old craft pie plate and placed it in the oven at 250 degrees just to kill any critters that might be in there, little bugs or worms or something, and also to dry out the dirt so I could knock it off a little bit easier. I put it on this little throwaway pie plate for 250 degrees for about an hour, and I didn't see any little critters, worms or bugs, but if they were in there, they're dead now. The find of this moss was just so exciting to me because I love the way it looks, and it just changes the whole basket, and it just seems to make it fancier. I just really liked it, and it's homemade, so it even made it better. Now I have an old pizza tray that I use with all my crafts. I save it just for crafts that I put under it in case something did come out. Then I just went back to the craft room and I just started working the moss around the basket and hot gluing it everywhere you could see basket. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's quite a struggle and it's quite a mess. Just keep working and don't give up. Eventually I ended up just showing you one at a time because it just took a lot of work and I didn't want to keep working from one basket to the other. I attached all of the little greenery with some wire. I just pulled it from the inside out, made a U shape and twist tied it onto the basket. That seemed to work pretty good. Okay, so any basket needs some eggs. I took some old broken wax pieces from old candles, melted it down into a pot. I did have some black color for the wax, so I dipped it into, it didn't matter really because the wax didn't even show up once you put the cinnamon on, but just melt down the wax until it's liquid form like this. Let it cool as much as possible. Here you can see I'm dunking the eggs, the sparkly eggs, into the wax. I didn't let it cool enough and it just took a while for them to cool, but you roll them in cinnamon. The cinnamon and the wax stick together to coat the egg. I used an old wire egg holder from, you know, Easter egg food coloring. I don't even know why I have them anymore, but it worked out perfectly for this. Just roll the eggs in some cinnamon, and let me tell you, it takes a lot of cinnamon. You can get cinnamon at the Dollar Tree as well for $1 for an entire container. Just let them set until the wax cools and place them in your basket. If you like our video and I've earned your subscription, please hit subscribe, like, and share the video, and that gets me playtime. Thank you for stopping back at the Cranberry Cornstalk YouTube channel.